Hey, Mr. Barr here for Driver's Ed on Monday. What we should have done last week is we should have got through chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4. Videos were up for all of those. On Friday, I posted an assignment for 3 and 4 questions. Those should have been answered and turned in. And now today we're moving on to our next chapter. I want to do a brief look back on chapter 4 because that's the last thing we talked about. Traffic laws, who makes them, federal, state, local. Safety belt, wear it correct, wear it all the time. Everybody has to wear it correct again. Airbag safety, make sure you don't put children in the front because of the dangers that can come with an airbag. If you are short, make sure you are safely seated so that you're not too close to the airbag. Speed limits based on the best conditions. So if it's snowing, you got to go slower than what's posted. You can get speeding tickets for going the speed limit. It's based on the best conditions. Construction zones, slow down, pay attention, get off the phones. Slow down, get over for emergency vehicles. Stop if you can, not a mandatory stop. Get over is if you can, again though, don't cause a wreck. School zones, dealing with those, slow down, pay attention. A school crossing guard is equivalent to a cop. How to handle funeral processions, just stay out of their way, don't pass. Some right-of-way rules you're supposed to look at page 26, page 27. And right-of-way, again, for those that are confused by that, is basically deciding who gets to go. Ask questions. Passing, juice worth the squeeze was my comment. You don't gain that much, so make sure it's really necessary. When to pass on the right, one-way streets, somebody driving slow in the passing lane on the interstate, do not pass on the right, especially on the shoulder. When not to pass, some of these scenarios, some lane usage, some additional rules, signaling. It talked about the old school system of hand signals. Use those for tractors, bikes, four-wheelers, dirt bikes, anything that is motorcycle, not as visible. How to make right turns, how to make left turns. We talked about changing lanes. You'll hear it in the driver's ed car a lot, but you'll hear me say it in this class a lot. Blinker, check, enter. U-turns, better to go around the block, only if necessary and if legal. Hazards are for if your vehicle is disabled on the side of the road, or maybe you're driving slower than normal. Two-way left turn lanes, like we have out here in front of school. A lane that is established to make left turns from two different directions. Pay attention. Construction again. Special stops for special vehicles, especially school buses. Pay attention, heed it. Gas trucks have to stop at railroad tracks. Just notice that certain vehicles probably have it posted on the back. This vehicle may make sudden stops. Railroad crossings in town, since ours is dead, technically it's not a live track, but I want you to treat it like it is for safety purposes. Slow, look, listen. Alleys and driveways, stop before entering, especially stop before the sidewalk so you don't hit a pedestrian. Parking, uphill parking, downhill parking, parallel parking were just a couple that we hit up on. Handicap parking, some prohibited parking issues, some new laws, some additional laws, all on these pages. Handicap, the big thing I preach to you guys is got to have the handicapped person with you. You can't take a handicapped person's car and park in a handicapped spot without them. Vehicle emissions is testing air, and today we're going to talk about sharing the roadways with different vehicles. Trucks is the first one, and anytime we talk about this, we're not talking about a small truck, we're talking about semi-trucks. On page 40, doesn't look right, it's page 45. I'll have to update that on the new one. On page 45, it talks about the blind spots. I think it used to say the no zones. And if you see, they have really big blind spots. They can't see anything directly in front, down the sides, in certain angles, and they can't see directly behind them. Kind of works for school buses as well. So if you are kind of hanging in these positions for too long, you're going to get yourself in trouble. So if you're going to pass a truck, do so quickly. Don't hang out on the sides. They start slow, they stop slow. They struggle on hills. They go fast down the hill, they go slow up the hill. If you go to Missouri or Southern Illinois, even Arkansas, some of these hillier places, they have little areas for slow vehicles to get over because of this. Slow-moving vehicles. Slow-moving vehicles are usually going to have the sign, the indicator. It's like a orangish, reddish triangle on the back of the vehicle that's indicating the vehicle is moving slow. Could be a tractor, could be a tractor pulling implements, things like that. Could be a four-wheeler. See that sign? Slow down, because you're going to close that gap pretty quickly and it gets dangerous. Flashers are visible. Make sure you slow down as well, again, just for safety of everybody on the roads. So watch out for those slow-moving vehicles, especially during certain seasons. We got harvest coming up here soon. I've seen silage getting cut already out there, so you're going to start to see more tractors on the roads this time of year for the next month to two, and then it's going to kind of go away. But then all of a sudden planting season's going to come around, and boom, a lot of slow-moving vehicles on the road in our area. So kind of pay attention and see what they're doing. Pedestrians, like I said before, last chapter I think it was, always have to yield to pedestrians. Pedestrians get right away all the time. That does not mean that a pedestrian can walk out in front of you and you're supposed to slam the brakes on. That is not okay. Jaywalking, if I hit a jaywalker and I could have stopped, I'm still going to get a major penalty against me for doing that. Pedestrians are supposed to use the crosswalks and stuff like that, but again, if they're crossing jaywalking and you can obviously stop, you must stop. Give them right away. Be careful around school, because we got students going to lunch, we got students before and after school. If you see students trying to cross, it's in your best interest to probably slow down and stop. Let them cross. Pedestrians, you got to pay attention though, because not everybody's following these rules. I've seen it here at Carlisle where a car has stopped letting pedestrians cross, and then all of a sudden a car will go down the middle two-lane left turn lane and pass, and almost had some major issues with that. Very illegal. Don't do that. Hitchhiking soliciting is also illegal. Do not pick up a hitchhiker. You don't know what's going on. You don't know where they are, what they could do. I know you'll feel bad about it, but it's just not a great scenario for you. Soliciting would be, asking for money. You've seen people that have those signs. Do they allow it from time to time? Do they look the other direction? I would say yes. But the issue is, if we allow soliciting to happen, there would be people lined up all over the place asking for money, asking for handouts. If you're going to, have a sign on the side of the road like, we're having a car wash today for high school fundraiser, you typically need to get some sort of approval from the city to do so. So it's just one of those things. You just got to pay attention to hitchhiking, soliciting, kind of stay away from it. Like I said, it's just not a great place for you to be messing with. Joggers, walkers. Typically, they tell you to use paths when provided. I am one of these people that like to run on the roads because I don't like going up and down sidewalks and tripping hazards and all that. If you're going to run on the road, walk on the road, you should face traffic, wear bright colors, choose wide roads. Just kind of be careful and be wise on what you choose and where you choose to run. It can be very dangerous to run in dangerous locations. So make sure you're kind of being wise, but the big thing is bright. Headphones is, I do it, but it's not safe at times. You probably want to run without headphones so that you can hear what's happening around you. You really got to pay attention. Children are and do become kind of a particular hazard on the road. That's why we have signs that indicate where children would be. You got school zones, slow down. If you see a park and you see kids out there, slow down. If you're going through a neighborhood, slow down. Typically, these are places kids are going to be, and you want to make sure that you're paying attention and looking for kids as you drive through those areas. Never use residential areas as shortcuts, because shortcuts typically mean you drive faster, and we do not want you guys driving faster through residential areas with kids. So slow down. You know, I have kids. I teach my kids the rules, but at times they cross without looking, no matter how many times you tell them. So part of our responsibility as a driver is to look out for those kids. Motorcycles. A lot of accidents happen with motorcycles because of their size. We don't see them, we don't look for them, and we kind of need to start making that one of the cues that we're looking for when we drive. Especially depending on the time of the season. Right now it's still motorcycle season, and motorcycles are out. Then winter hits and they kind of go away, but all of a sudden, let's say in January we have one of these 50, 60 degree days. Everybody with the motorcycle is going to hit the roads. You have to understand that and kind of pay a little extra attention on those days. If I get into an accident with a motorcycle, they always say call 911 immediately. Probably should on almost any accident, but especially with a motorcycle, because it's probably going to be bad. Allow them more room. Same procedures when you pass. Just kind of pay a little extra attention. Watch out for those motorcycles. Bikes, if they're in the road, they should drive with traffic and follow all the rules. Don't always do this. I've seen many bikes go through stop signs and they don't stop. So if you see a bike on the road, pay attention to what it's doing. If you're going to be a bicyclist on the road, wear a helmet, wear bright colors. Kind of pay attention to what's going on around you. The only thing I've ever kind of disagreed with is if you're going to bike on country roads, I tend to say go against traffic so that I can see cars coming. Because I kind of think of country roads as one-lane roads because there's not as much room. And for my safety when I'm biking on a country road, I want to see traffic coming at me. I don't like the idea of traffic coming behind me. So again, kind of pay attention to what's going on around you. Scooters and mopeds are a little different than a motorcycle because of the size. That would be your Class L versus your Class M for your motorcycle. So you don't have to have a special license per se, I don't think, for scooters. I think the biggest thing you have to do is just go to the DMV and make sure that it is legal, has plates and all that good stuff. Just kind of follow the rules that are in place for that. Low-speed vehicles need to have the sign that we talked about earlier. Need to be registered. They are legal now. You see it around town here. People driving side-by-sides, people driving golf carts. They should all have lights and blinkers and all that good stuff. But again, just pay attention to what's going on around you. Snowmobiles are legal so long as the conditions exist. You don't see it near as much as you used to, but just understand that if there is snow out there, there's a possibility of snowmobiles. They should kind of heed the rules of the road as well. Horseback riders, same way, allowed to use the roads, go with traffic. They shouldn't be on the major roads because of the danger involved. Just if you see a horseback rider, slow down, get over. No loud noises, don't honk at them to try to be funny, because that's not going to be good for the horse. And that's our stopping point for today.